Episode 1: The Tunnel. Ethan had been driving for hours. The night was thick with fog, curling like ghostly fingers around his windshield. His hands ached from gripping the wheel, but he refused to stop. He had been on this highway 100 times before. It was familiar, predictable, but tonight something was wrong. The detour sign came out of nowhere, bright orange, reflecting back at him through the mist. Route closed. Use alternate road. He blinked. That didn't make sense. The highway never closed this late. He sighed, checking his GPS. The alternate road was unmarked, a long stretch of pavement disappearing into the darkness. He didn't want to take it. Something in his gut screamed at him not to take it. But what choice did he have? He turned onto the road, and the moment he did, the streetlights vanished. It was like the road had swallowed them whole. His GPS glitched. The map flickered and then nothing. Just a blank screen. Then he saw the tunnel, carved into the side of a hill, looming and endless. The mouth of it was blacker than the night sky, a gaping hole in reality itself. His headlights barely touched the entrance. It stretched forward impossibly long. Too long. He hesitated. His fingers hovered over the gear shift. Turn around. Then his radio cut out. No static. Just pure, suffocating silence. A pressure built in his chest, an irrational, primal fear. He swallowed hard. It was just a tunnel. A normal, everyday tunnel, right? His foot hesitated on the gas. And then a whisper. Not from the radio. Not from outside. Inside his head. Keep driving. His stomach twisted into knots. His fingers tingled. His entire body screamed no. But his foot pressed the gas anyway. The moment he entered, the air changed. It was colder inside. Too cold. The kind of cold that seeped into your bones, that made your breath come out in thick clouds even though the heater was blasting. His headlights barely touched the walls. The tunnel stretched. It had been 5 minutes. 10. 15. No exit. No sign of the other side. The yellow lane markers disappeared behind him, swallowed by the darkness. His breathing turned shallow. It's just a tunnel. It's just a tunnel. Then the engine hiccuped. His heart stopped. The dashboard flickered. And in the rearview mirror, a shape, a dark mass in the back seat. He slammed the brakes. The car skidded, tires screeching, and then the engine died. Pure, absolute darkness. His breath came in sharp, panicked gasps. His fingers dug into the steering wheel. Then, nails, dragging, slowly, across the fabric of his seat. Right behind him, a tear slid down his cheek. His hand shook as he reached for the door handle. And then, the whisper again. You're almost there. His body seized. The dashboard flashed to life. The engine roared. The car lurched forward. His hands weren't on the wheel. The tunnel spat him out onto a deserted road. The car stopped itself. Ethan sobbed. He looked in the rearview mirror. The back seat was empty. His phone buzzed. New destination set. Home. He never said it. He never drove home. But somehow he still ended up there. And the whisper followed him inside. Episode 2: The Static. Ethan's house didn't feel like home anymore. Something from the tunnel had followed him. He was sure of it. It was in the walls, in the air, in the silence. The lights flickered when he walked past. The mirrors warped his reflection. And the TV turned on by itself. First it was normal. News channels, commercials, but then only static. A buzzing, droning, endless hiss. And buried inside it, whispers, faint, distorted, calling his name. The first night he ignored it. The second night he unplugged the TV. It still turned on. The whispers grew louder. We see you. You let us in. He smashed the remote. The screen cracked, but the whispers didn't stop. Then his phone screen glitched. A new app. One he never downloaded. No name. Just a black icon. His hands trembled as he tapped it. The screen filled with static. Then a live feed of his living room. Right now, his breath caught in his throat. The camera showed him, sitting on the couch. But beside him, a woman. wet hair, hollow eyes, smiling. He screamed. The lights went out, and the whisper grew closer. "You're almost ready." Episode 3, The Door. Ethan tried to run. He threw open the front door and found a wall, brick, solid, unmoving. Every exit was gone. Windows sealed shut. The house felt smaller. The walls trembled. His phone buzzed. A new notification. Final destination. The door. A low hum filled the air. The furniture shifted. And then, the door appeared. Tall, black, breathing. The handle twisted. Ethan backed away, his heart hammering against his ribs. A voice inside his skull. "You drove through. You let us in." The handle turned. The door swung open. Something stepped out. Not a person. Not a thing. Something wrong. A shadow of himself. He smiled. And Ethan screamed. The house collapsed. Walls turned to nothing. The world itself blinked out. Only the door remained, waiting for someone else to open it.